So you've got a Google Ad Grant account, you sign in to try to figure out what's going on, and you're met with a wall of numbers that really don't make a lot of sense. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly using only 3 screens, how to break down what's happening in your Google Ad Grant account and understand whether or not the results are good, bad, ugly, or somewhere in between. This is the exact process that I use live on client calls when we review their account and understand where they're at and how we can get them where they want to go, which is more grant utilization, more conversions, and higher quality traffic. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so there are 3 places we check. First, we look at spend, and we're going to do this in a live account, but I want to give you the big picture overview first. First, we look at spend. Then we look at search terms. Search terms are what users actually type into Google before they see or click an ad. So this tells us what kind of search traffic, what kind of quality of traffic are we getting? And then finally, conversions. This tells us what users are actually doing on the website. So when we look at these 3, we know how much grant we're utilizing with spend, we know the quality of traffic we're getting from our search terms, and we know whether or not that traffic quality, good or bad, is turning into actual meaningful actions on our website, because that's all conversions are meaningful actions on our website. Okay, so we're now looking at a Google Ad Grant account. The first thing I want you to do is make sure you're in the right account. So go over here to billing, click billing one time, and you should see we don't bill you. There's nothing to see here. Now that we know we're in a Google Ad Grant account, because the last thing we want to do is start making changes to a paid account and unexpectedly rack up a $10,000 Google ad fee. Okay, so now we're in a Google Ad Grant account and we can start checking these 3 screens that make all the difference. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we're on the overview tab. So you can do that by clicking campaigns here and then overview. Typically, you're just going to start on this screen as soon as you log in. The next thing we want to do is make sure we're looking at all of our campaigns. So if you see any filters, it might look like this. This is something you want to get rid of. So you're just looking at all the campaigns. We want to look at the big picture account here. This is the broad view. Next, we're going to check our date range. So start with last month or last 30 days, and then take a look at the spend. That's really what we're looking at on the screen. We want to see, okay, what does spend look like? What does grant utilization look like? You can see for this particular client account, they actually used 10.4K, so $10,374.28. There is no downside to going over. This is just bonus spend for this client, and this is something we're able to do pretty frequently. Okay, so this is last month. So we see that the spend is going great. Now what we want to do is go further back. So we'll start on the all time. So all I did was click here and then click all time. Next, we want to adjust our chart because typically Google Ads is going to default to quarters, and that's not super useful. So instead, we're going to click the 3 little dots. Yours might say adjust, but whatever it is, we'll click the corner and change this to monthly. Now we have a bit more of an interesting view here where we can see, okay, there was no grant here. They got the grant March 2023. They got up to 10K and then slowly came down. And we started working with them around here when they were working with another agency that was only able to utilize 2.2K. We were able to scale things up, and you can see we've been at 10K or higher, most months higher, for over a year now. So this overall looks great. Now, how can you use this information? Okay, let's say you're an in-house digital marketer, and you just inherited this Google Ad Grant account. Well, you can come in here and say, oh, okay, I see that maybe you're coming into it at February 2025 when it's spending 2.2K. You can look back and say, oh, okay, I can see that at one point, this account was doing well as far as grant utilization. We're going to look at the other details here because, of course, those mattered. But we can say at one point, this account was doing well and was using the full 10K. Now we can look back on that data and figure out what was working and try to replicate that in the future. So this is why this is helpful, is because it gives us a big picture, right? Big picture overview of what's going on in the account. Now, the next place we want to check are the details, right? We want the texture of the account, and we do that with our search terms. So on this inner menu here, click Insights and Reports, then Search Terms. Now, search terms are what users type into Google before they see or click an ad. So these are real searches searches by real people that they type into Google before they see any of your Google Ad Grant ads. Now, we want to expand this. It's typically going to default to 10 rows. We're going to come down here to 500 rows. We want lots of data here. Now, we're also set to all time. This is where you want to pay attention. Typically, all time can be helpful just to see, okay, across all the history of the account, what has this showed up for? And this is going to give you great insight into what you should likely be able to show up for. Again, let's say the account is on a downtrend, for example. The other thing you want to do is we'll check last month and we can see where the searches were going in the most recent month. And then we can also check things, this month, for example. Now, you can sort by clicks, you can sort by cost, whatever you want to do, you just click these. But the point is, if we're taking a look at June in this example, we can see we've got some branded searches. We're showing up for animal shelters near me. We're showing up for dog adoption. We're showing up for other humane societies in the area. We're showing up for small dog adoption. What you want to do is take a look at these search terms and ask yourself, is this something I want to keep showing up for? If the answer is yes, great. Keep that keyword and potentially add more like it. If the answer is no, then you want to add it as a negative. You have two ways to do that. The simplest way is to check this little box and click add as a negative. You can add this to the campaign or a negative keyword list. Now, there's a lot more details with negatives, so Google is going to default to an exact match. That's going to be the safest way now. We frequently use broad match, but for something like this, you're going to want to add exact match. And all this means is you're telling Google, hey, thanks for having us show up for small dogs for adoption, but we actually don't want to show up for this. Maybe your particular shelter only has big dogs, or you very rarely have small dogs and you just don't want that type of traffic. Whatever the situation is, that's how you can remove it. Now, this again gives you a ton of data. This is that nitty gritty. What exactly are people typing into Google before they see or click an ad? So already with just 2 screens, we have the big picture of the account as far as grant utilization. We know where the account was at, where it's at today, where it was in history, and we can start to figure out where we think it can go. On our second screen, we've looked at search terms. So we know what users are actually typing into Google before they see or click an ad. And your job here is to figure out, is this good, bad, or somewhere in between? Now, the last piece are our conversions. So we're going to get here by going to goals, and then we're going to click this little blue text, view all conversion actions. I find this is the easiest way to view this. Now, conversions are just any meaningful action on your website. And if you're like a lot of nonprofits, you may not have conversion tracking in place, which is something we can absolutely help with. And we'll talk about that more in a moment. But if you have conversions in place and you've got a healthy account, you'll see data here that shows you exactly what users are doing. So for this particular client, the first step to the adoption process is clicking through one of the adoptable pet photos and then starting the process from there. So you can see we've got 378 people that did that just in June. So that's a lot of folks interested in the pets here, dogs and cats. You can see other conversions here. So 5 folks starting the foster application. That's great as well. A couple community cat applications, TNVR applications, and so forth. The main focus of this account are the adoptions. So with this third screen, we now know what users are actually doing. So we've got our spend, what users are searching for, and then what users are actually doing on the website. 3 screens, tons of data, so we know what our Google Ad Grant account is actually doing. So now that you understand what's happening in your account, hopefully you're ecstatic. You love the results, nothing else to do. See you later. Don't forget to subscribe. But if you're like most nonprofits, you probably feel like you could be getting more from your Google Ad Grant. Maybe the search terms weren't quite what you wanted to see, or there just aren't any conversions. Now, if that sounds like you, you've got 2 options. You can either take this on yourself, and in that case, I would highly recommend our course, which guides you through everything you need to know, including conversion tracking, step by step, and I'll drop a link in the description. That course includes live office hours, so you can get a chance to talk with me directly about what's going on with your Google Ad Grant account. If that doesn't make sense to you, you don't have the time, and you just don't want to deal with it, then you can hire us, Digital Tabby, my agency, to manage your Google Ad Grant account end to end. It includes everything like conversion tracking, like account build out, ad copy, keyword selection, reporting, so you can deliver awesome results to the board, everything you need to scale, maximize, and optimize your Google Ad Grant account. Either way, I hope you found this video helpful. Click subscribe, and if you want to book a call, link is in the description. Talk to you in the next one.